Hello everyone, and welcome to another beer review. I've just been searching about the back garden trying to find a bloody Amazon parcel. Bastards, so they are. Lying toe rags. Apparently he said he left it in the shed, so I'm going through both sheds, can't find the bloody thing. And all through the bloody, underneath the cars, because sometimes they chuck it underneath the cars and the driveway and all this type of stuff. At carport, yeah. Behind the bins in the carport. What was it? Fucking hide and seek now, is it? Just what the game is with bloody Amazon. Bastards. They are. I'm stalking about my own bloody property and that type of stuff with the bloody phone torch and that like a fucking idiot. Ah, Christ. Anyway, today we're going to do a beer that's been a donation, a kind donation, a generous donation, and actually from a new donor as well. Yes, we've got a new donor. Yes, yes. Now, today we're going to be doing the Bear Ale from Traquair, which is down in Peeblesshire. So it's near Peebles. It's actually not far, just slightly south, east of Peebles. There you go. So yeah, this was kindly donated by a man called John Morris. Now, John Morris, who is John Morris? Well, I can tell you who John Morris is. Well, I think I can. I haven't done that. He might have a criminal record. I don't fucking know. You know what I mean? Don't really know that much about him, apart from it's a case as though he's my sister's plumber. And when I say plumber, I mean more from a gynecological sense, because he's pumped her. I mean, he's her new partner. That's going to get me in any trouble, that one. But anyway, yes, I don't know much about him and that type of stuff. But I mean, he could have a criminal record a mile along, hopefully. Well, it's going out with my sister, makes it more exciting. I might actually win that bit, But anyway, yes. So yes, thank you, John, for basically donating. He actually donated 3 beers because obviously he's been looking at my videos thinking, God, he's reviewing shite. So he's like, well, I wanted to step in here because nobody else will. Because usually I have to rely on Adrian to kind of step in and stop me from basically, oh, he's still reviewing that shite. I'll buy him some bloody beer for God's sake. It's embarrassing. So now I've got somebody else that's kind of helping me out as well as Adrian. So hopefully some of the beers might become a bit more interesting. I doubt it, but hopefully. So the beer ale from Traquair. Traquair's a country house, and apparently some say it's the oldest inhabited building left in Scotland, and then some say it's one of the oldest inhabited buildings in Scotland. But it's one of these kind of lord and lady, type of scenarios, and they've got a brewery. And funnily enough, this is where the beer comes from. It doesn't come from the gardens; it comes from the brewery. I've learned something over this journey. Anyway, but yes, so we've got 3 of them to do. This is the lowest alcohol out of the 3. I'll be honest, they are a bit pricey though and that type of stuff. But in saying that though, John is going out with my sister and she is high maintenance. So I think he's just getting used to spending money because he's going to have to do quite a lot of it. I can assure you, my oldest sister's high maintenance. But she's also getting, she's actually 60 now, so she's getting on a bit. So bits will start dropping off and things like that. So you might have to pay to get them reattached or get replacement parts or something, But anyway, I'm telling you, next time she phones me. Yep, but anyway, yeah. So this beer is the lowest one. The other 2 are quite high. They're kind of more towards the kind of the wee heavy kind of alcohol contents into the kind of high 7s, maybe getting into the 8s. So anyway, I think there's some spill in this. Oh God, here we go. Jesus. Is that a car? Of course it is. But good. It's not that arsehole disaster this time. But anyway, the famous Bear Gates guarding the approach to Traquair have been closed since 1745, when the last person to pass through them was Bonnie Prince Charlie. There you go. That fucking nonce. The trouble he bloody caused. Bloody Bonnie Prince Charlie. Now what did he do? Oh, loses that little battle and he fucks off, doesn't he? Oh, see you boys. Oh, bloody French. Anyway, Traquair House Brewery lies in one of the wings of Scotland's oldest inhabited house, and is also one of Britain's smallest working breweries. Its unique range of ales are all fermented in 200-year-old oak vessels. So yes, you've got the oak vessels because they found them, and it was all kind of closed up, and it was just used as a storage room apparently in this brewery. And then I think it was the kind of mid 20th century they kind of came across it and kind of opened it up, and then realised that a lot of the brewing kind of equipment was still there, and a lot of it was kind of vintage as well. So it wasn't a case of let's start a brewery, let's resurrect the old one type scenario, you know, from the ashes of neglect. So yeah, let's get this cracked open and see what John's given me. Hope to got it something different than he's given my sister anyway. That's going to be another one. Anyway. But yes, John, thank you very much. There we go. For the people in the podcast, it's a nice clear, kind of dark chestnut colour. So there is about a one finger head. Nice malt aromas. So there is. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Not really getting much else, but I am getting malt aromas. Maybe a little bit of grain, but yeah, the malt aromas are kind of based around about slightly caramel, like toffee, that type of stuff. No syrupiness to it, which is quite good, and you can just look at it. It's not overly rich. You can just tell by the head. The head's kind of so slightly off-white, but I would probably just put it down as white. I wouldn't really say it was kind of really off-white or that type of stuff. So it's not kind of rich enough to start changing the colour of the head too much. And it just looks kind of a slightly lighter ale, you know, a bit more sessionable. You see? So let's see what it tastes like. All right. There's a bit of bitterness at the back end, which is quite nice. Maybe a slightly herbal tone right at the back end as well, which again kind of harks back to kind of the original style kind of dark ales in Scotland, where we didn't really use so much hops or no hops at all, depending on what era it was, because obviously every time we fell out the English, our supply of hops stopped, funnily enough. So we had to use different herbs to get the kind of bitterness, and also to add other kind of adjunct flavours to the beer. So that's kind of more of a kind of Scottish tradition. So yeah. Mouthfeel, yeah. It does. It just tastes like a nice, good Scottish heavy. No, good sessionable Scottish heavy with some nice malt flavours there, and some nice control. So there is. Now, if I did some research, now the 3 bottles in this kind of sample pack were £14. Looking on their website, and this beer, if you want 12 of them, it works out, if you buy 12, I think it's over 50 quid. I think it's about 52, between 52 or 54 quid. I can't quite remember, but roughly, if you basically divide it by the 12, it's working out roughly about £4.40 a bottle, which is a bit on the high side. So it is. and yeah, that doesn't include delivery, of course. So yeah, yeah, bit of a problem. But I think they do this in keg. I didn't see it in cask. I think they actually said it was draft. Well, I take it a lot of times when they say draft, they mean keg, because nobody would really use the terminology draft. They would always use the word cask, because cask has more of a bearing on it. So going on that basis, when they say it's available in draft or bottle, I would say it's more keg that they're maybe kind of meaning rather than cask. But yeah, I mean, it's a nice typical kind of flavour profile for this type of beer. Some nice kind of rich malts, a little bit of sweetness, and a nice bit of bitterness at the end. I mean, I always class a session but heavy is more like a kind of it's like the bitterness, kind of a bitter of the kind of Scottish side, so it's a bit more like a kind of a good strong English bitter, with nice malt tones and a good bitter edge at the end. And that's really what a heavy really is. Again, um, bitterness wise, again, some of them will still add a little bit of herbs, even if they're using hops, just to kind of add that little kind of adjunct kind of accents to the aftertaste. And I feel this has got a little bit of that in there. But yeah, overall, it's quite a pleasant one. So let's break down the flavours. Right, start off with you get some nice malt flavours, a little bit of grain, and a little bit of sweetness. But even in the front end, you just start to get little slight caramel tones in the front of the mouth. And they kind of develop and start providing some kind of slight light toffee tones in the mid tongue. So in the mid tongue, you're still getting some nice malt flavours, a little bit of grain. Sweetness is very, very light, which is good because sometimes is the case as well. When you're getting a kind of a bit more malt in a Scottish beer, then unfortunately the sweetness level starts to kind of creep up a bit, which is nice that this is kind of controlled. So get some nice, good kind of intensity of malt, but the sweetness isn't getting ramped up, because sometimes it's the case if the sweetness gets ramped up, then it starts to kind of balance out and kill off the kind of bitterness at the end, and you start losing that kind of intensity because it's slightly, fighting each other, cancelling each other out. So yeah, in the mid tongue, you're still getting some nice, good malt flavours there. You get some nice caramel tones, some nice toffee tones. The sweetness, like I say, is quite low, but you're also getting some nice kind of little kind of, I'm not going to say bready, but you are getting some nice kind of little grain tones that people sometimes associate it with biscuits, and people will associate it with bread, whatever. But you are just getting some nice little kind of grain tones in there. And as it starts to get towards the end of the mid tongue, you just get some ever so slight little herbal accents that transition in as this kind of bitterness, because the bitterness just starts at the end of the mid tongue, and it just starts to kind of ramp up a bit more. And yeah, you get a nice, good bitter finish, with just little herbal tones. And again, as things dissipate, just as the kind of the malt flavours start to dissipate, because they dissipate quite early in the back end, it just adds that little more boost to the kind of bitterness as well in the aftertaste. And it's just a nice kind of clean, kind of bitter finish, something that I like. But yeah, it's quite controlled, and obviously as you can see, it's very drinkable. Although at £4.40 a bottle, I would say, you know what I mean, you would expect it to be drinkable, maybe not too drinkable, of course. Maybe take a bloody mortgage out to buy a 12 pack. But yeah, it is a bit on the pricier side, but if it's obviously, again, a kind of very small brewery, and obviously, being part of Traquair House, I think most of these type of things, when it's going to be a slightly tourist kind of edge to it, then of course the prices kind of reflect that anyway. It's just a kind of normal thing, unfortunately. But yeah, it's a nice beer. But what would I give this out of 10? Here's a question. It is a nice balanced heavy. It really is, and it's very drinkable. I'd like to actually try it in draft. I'm sure it'd be really nice in draft. Although if they're charging £4.40 a bottle, God knows what they'd be charging for a pint. And that's where it comes down to. I mean, you can have all the nicest beer in the world, but it's all down to kind of price and affordability. And it's a shame when good beers become, a luxury, become a treat rather than the norm. That's what kind of worries me. I mean, a good heavy in the past was the norm. Now it's a case as though it's a rarity. And yeah, it's a bit of a treat, especially at these type of prices, which is disappointing, unfortunately, but it just kind of highlights where the beer industry is in Scotland, but also in England as well, because of course there's a lot of good beers now that they can't get, or they start to become a bit more of a premium as well, so that's a bit kind of disappointing. So on that basis, so it could be quite an easy 8, because it is a very nice one. I'm just, as I'm talking to you, I'm just still getting a little kind of bitter tones in the mouth, even though I swallowed it, and it's kind of long gone. But the flavours are just still kind of slightly hanging about in a nice way, not lingering, not loitering with intent, but they're just kind of hanging about, and it's just nice. It's one of these kind of flavours where it hangs about and it just kind of entices you to take it, teases you to go and have another glug, which is a sign of a good beer in my view. But yeah, what would I give this out of 10? It would be an easy 8, but I just think the pricing is a bit too extreme. I mean, at 4.4, you're now starting to get into kind of, cask kind of pricing. And let's be totally honest, I mean, cask leaves bottle for dead, let's be totally honest. And if we're going to pay £4.40 for a bottle, or £4.40 from a nice pint or cask ale, well, I'm going to go for the cask, because it's beer in its kind of best form. I mean, that's the most natural form, is a nice fresh cask ale. And that's the problem when you have the prices at that type of kind of level at £4.40. So on that basis, it's going to lose a bit just because of the pricing. So I'm going to bring it down to a 7. I was thinking between a 7 and 7.5, but it is quite pricey at £4.40. You've got to be kind of realistic. Who's going to really kind of be buying these in regular amounts at that type of price? And you're not offering any kind of discount scheme, because I did have a look. And yeah. So flavour-wise and everything else, it was a kind of more normal price. It'd be an easy 8. But just because of the cost of it, and you have to take that into account, I'm going to have to drop it down to 7. But still a very, very nice beer, and I would recommend it. But again, we've got to be realistic with price, because a lot of people would say, fuck that, I'm not paying that for it. And I can understand that. And I'm glad that John was kind enough to donate these for me, because I'm a tight arse. So I'd probably kind of balk at the price thing. Well, you fucking think so? So I can understand, but yeah. So it's 7 out of 10. Thanks for watching. Cheers, and bye for now.